Welcome to another edition of Embracing Silver Life. Hi, and welcome back to Embracing Silver Life. I'm so glad you could join me. My name is Doug. I am the host and creator of this show, and it's all about boomer life. It's all about seniors. It's all about retirement. It's all about having fun doing what we're doing. So, thank you so much. And today we are delving into the world of hydroponic gardening. I need to kind of go into a little rabbit trail here real quick. One of the first things that I liked about Facebook was connecting with family and things like that. And then it got to be so strange, and there's so much on there that nobody wants to see. But then they opened up Facebook Marketplace, and it's kind of better than Craigslist was. There's a lot more to it, and Craigslist kind of seems to have died off. Certainly, the newspaper want ads, the classified sections don't exist anymore for the most part. But, you know, Facebook Marketplace, if you're looking to get into a hobby or you have a hobby and you're looking to change things or whatever, there's so much on Marketplace. It's usually fairly close around you. It's easy to negotiate with these folks for the most part. And the nice thing is, at least with me, if I get into it thinking this is a great hobby, I'm going to love this, and I don't, then I can usually put it back up on Marketplace and sell it, and it really didn't cost me very much at all. So that's what I like about it. So now we're going to get back to hydroponic gardening. I don't know what got me started. I think I might like to do hydroponic gardening, but I don't want to do these great big things, gardens. It takes over the basement. You've got lights everywhere. It just looks like a huge growing operation. I wanted something small. So a little research, and I found AeroGarden, and I'm sure probably a lot of you have heard of it or you've seen it, wondered about it. But I was able to find a couple who received an AeroGarden for their wedding, no interest at all in doing AeroGardening. So I was able to pick it up, for about half price, which I thought was fair. It had everything that I needed to get into it, and I loved it. My wife, I know she was thinking, please, not another thing that's going to take up counter space. So we ended up putting it on our coffee bar because it's not a bad looking unit. You will see it. And, with the light and everything, it's really kind of attractive once the plants start growing. So she didn't mind it at all. Well, then we started reaping the harvest. And if you can imagine getting fresh tomatoes in the early spring, in the winter, your own lettuce, herbs, fresh herbs, all this growing in this AeroGarden, it was really nice. So we've been having a lot of fun with it. So I'm redoing it. We're going to plant some tomatoes today. We are going to plant one lettuce just because tomatoes take about 3 months. The lettuce is going to be a little bit shorter, so I want to be able to show you how fast things grow. But we're going to get into that here right now on Embracing Silver Life. All right, we have moved downstairs and we are looking at the AeroGarden Bounty. The AeroGarden Bounty has a top that holds 9 pods, and we'll get into the pods here in a bit. And then that fits into this. The top there also has the motor and the filter underneath it. You can see it's sitting on the bottom there. And then they've got the little cord that plugs in over on the other unit here. I do have this currently filled up with the water and the plant food. And then this is the unit that it sits under. This provides a light, but this also controls when the water is going to be flowing and when the light's on. So I believe it's going to come on like at 8 o'clock in the morning, goes off about 11 at night. And that's based on the type of plant we're going to be putting in there. We are going to plant tomatoes today, and I'm going to put one lettuce pod in on the far side. Tomatoes take up a lot of space, and so you can see these little joints in the light piece here, and that will go up probably another 1.5 feet. It's very, very bright, and it also gets tall because some of the plants we're going to put in there do get pretty tall. In fact, tomatoes and lettuce are probably some of the taller ones that we will grow. I've also put a lot of herbs in here, and we haven't had any unsuccessful plantings yet. And we've had this probably 2 years now, so we're quite happy with it. Okay, we are now looking at the other pieces here. So I'm going to go over those kind of just to show you what we have here. In the far back here, this is a bag of they're like cork pieces, biodegradable, and you put the seed in there, and then that's what sits in these holders. And this is what actually slides into the pod holder over there on the lid, and then you would put one of these in, and right in, get the focus there, you can see there's a hole right there. We would I usually put 3 seeds in there. You never know what's going to germinate. I have had some fails, not overall, but I have had 1 or 2 that just didn't come up. But I would drop the seeds right down in the tiny little holes, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It fits then right into this, and then as it starts to soak, pardon my reach, that cork swells up, and then that's going to then provide the nutrients to the seed in there. The other pieces we have here, of course, the seeds, which are most important. So my wife really likes these little heirloom tomatoes. I'm only going to put 3 plants in. I've put more than that before. It got very crowded because the plants do get big. And once they start growing, they do take up a lot of water. And we ended up really with more tomatoes than we knew what to do with. It'll take almost 3 months to the day before we have ripe tomatoes to eat. And then they'll start coming 1 or 2 a day. The other thing I'm going to do is I've got a good variety of lettuce. I've planted most of these. I really like the butter crunch, so I'm putting 1 pod of butter crunch in there today. Lettuce will grow a lot faster, but the nice thing about lettuce is it keeps coming back. So you pull the leaves off and it'll keep growing. So it'll last you quite a while. One of the most important things is the liquid plant food. And what I did was went online and I purchased this whole bag of these. It came with a whole, probably 4 or 5 plant food bottles. It tells you right here with 9 pod. We're going to add 2 capfuls basically every 2 weeks or so. The light unit will tell you when it's time to feed it, so you don't even have to guess. And then once the plants start getting bigger, you're going to start adding a little more food at a time. These are little ID pieces. They go on top of this, like that. You can write on there what it's going to be, but because I'm only planting tomatoes and 1 lettuce, I'm not going to write on there. But the other important part that they serve is they block light from getting into that. Because the light's so intense, and because we do have food, we have water in there, you can get mold. So this keeps the light out as much as possible, and the plant will come right up through there. These act as a little greenhouse. So once we plant these today, we will put this little cap on, and this will stay on until the leaves are actually pushing that away, and then we'll take that off. And these I had my son make with his 3D printer, but they go into the empty holes. So since I've got 9 pod holes, I'm only going to use 4. We're going to cover up the other remaining holes to keep light from getting into the water. Because again, it just encourages algae and whatever else. So the less light in the water and on the ground, the better it is. And I'll show you real quick here. So this is the top part. This is what feeds the plant. You can see the little jets. There's one of these for each excuse me, pod hole. And the pump will then pour that water. Oh, sorry about that. The pump will then pour that water out onto that. So, and that's how that works. So I've put everything together and I've moved it over onto our coffee bar. I'll move this back probably a little bit after I'm done with the demonstration. But it's actually a very nice looking piece. The light that shines is very bright and it's cheerful. And you know, you don't even have to just put in vegetables. You can grow flowers, whatever you want. So that's the great part about this. If you really love flowers, this is a great way to have flowers all year round growing in your house. And the other thing people use it for is to do starter seeds. So they will start them in here and then move them to the outside later. We did that with some pretty good success. In fact, we took some forsythia clippings and we did an experiment. I put the clippings in the little pods here, and then we put some just in regular water. Everything that we had that survived came from the AeroGarden. So it rooted, we got roots on the forsythia clippings so much faster than we did with regular water. And then once we transplanted, they actually survived where the other ones just didn't do it. So that was kind of a cool experiment for us. The other thing I wanted to go over was the water that you use. We use a distilled water. And the other option of distilled water is our grocery store and also Walmart. They have a unit that you bring your jugs, or you can buy a jug there, and it is reverse osmosis plus it's filtered, so that works as distilled as well. The advantage to distilled water is it's not going to leave all that calcium and all the particles and that crusty stuff that you get inside. So the pump remains clean, the inside remains clean, you don't have any problems with the calcium buildup. So that's the biggest advantage of using distilled water. I would never ever put tap water into this. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I'm going to pause this and show you how we program it then. Okay, I did power this up, and I'm taking a close-up here of the water. That is how the pump sends the water to the pods. And that will go every once in a while, so you will hear it sometimes you won't. It's just a nice little calm trickle if you even hear it. And if you do, you're probably going to enjoy it because it's just like a little stream flowing. Okay, the next thing we need to do is program this. Because I've had it unplugged for a while, it's now asking me, hey, did your power just go out? If I hit yes, what'll happen is it's going to resume the last program it was on. And I don't know what vegetables or anything like that I had in there last, so I certainly don't want to do that. So now we're going to say start new. Hit OK. Quick Plant guides you through. So this will take you through the whole thing. So I'm going to say Quick Plant. Update your time. Better look to see what time it is here. It's 10 a.m. my time. And the light came on. Now it says select the type of garden you're going to be doing. So we'll hit OK. We're not doing herbs. We're doing lettuce, but tomatoes are the main product we're doing today. So we're going to hit OK for that. It tells us that for tomatoes, it wants to be on 15 hours a day. So it'll come on at 8 a.m. And then it will give us the chance to alter that if we want to, but that's fine with me. There's no reason it shouldn't be on. So it says put the water in. We've all done this. Put the plant food in. I've already put the plant food in, and now it's ready to go. It will run 1 hour every hour, and then once it's in germination mode, and then after the 2 weeks, it shifts to a better time for it. So that tells us the water's full. It will beep. It'll turn red whenever it needs water. Your first, when you're just germinating, it doesn't use much water at all. Once these tomato plants get cranking, though, it's going to use a lot of water. So the first filling took about 1.5 gallons, and the half gallon that I have left over will last me probably a month. Then we're going to end up having to start putting quite a bit of water in. Well, I hope you didn't find that too painful, and maybe it even spurred a little interest on your part. So start looking through Facebook Marketplace if you're interested. You can buy the units brand new, and that'll give you everything you need, at least, and you also know that everything's going to be fresh. So whatever works for you, give it a shot. I think you'll like it. I'm really excited about next show. We are going to get into the kitchen. And one of the things my wife and I really like is creme brulee. It's kind of a pain to make it in the oven, but we do it sous vide. If you're not familiar with sous vide, you're going to want to watch this. And otherwise, it's going to be portion control because we do it in little tiny mason jars, and it's really going to be nice. So join us next time. And please like and subscribe. That really helps us out. Then you'll find out when the next show comes along. But like and subscribe, please. And we're going to see you next time on Embracing Silver Life.